Mike was always the curious type, a trait that had gotten him into trouble more times than he could count. But nothing could prepare him for the trouble he'd find when he stumbled upon the dark web. The allure of forbidden knowledge, the thrill of the unknown, it was too much for him to resist. He'd heard stories about it. The black market of the internet, a place where you could buy anything if you knew where to look. But Mike wasn't interested in drugs or weapons. He was after something much darker. One night, alone in his apartment, Mike found a forum buried deep within the dark web. The page was titled "The Collector's Secret," with a tagline that read, "For those who seek the rarest of items." Intrigued, he clicked on the link, which led to a simple, text-only page. A message greeted him. "Welcome to the Collector's Secret. We offer what others cannot, but be warned. Some things are not meant to be found." Despite the warning, Mike's curiosity only grew. After several minutes of browsing, he found an item that made his blood run cold. Human souls for sale. The description claimed that these were not just metaphors or items of artistic expression, but real trapped souls that could be bought and controlled. The seller's name was simply The Collector. Mike didn't believe it. Of course, it had to be a joke, but as he read the reviews and testimonials from other buyers, doubt began to gnaw at him. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was something real, something sinister about the whole thing. So he decided to test it. He contacted the collector, who responded almost instantly. The message was brief. "Are you sure you want to proceed? Once the transaction is complete, there are no refunds, and what you receive is your responsibility." Mike hesitated, but eventually replied, "Yes." Within minutes, the details of the transaction were completed. All that was left was to wait for the delivery. The package arrived the next day, wrapped in plain brown paper with no return address. Inside, Mike found a small, ornate glass vial filled with a swirling, dark mist. Attached was a note that simply said, "Handle with care." For days, Mike kept the vial on his desk, unable to decide what to do with it. He was half convinced that it was all an elaborate prank, but another part of him felt an unease he couldn't explain. That unease turned to dread one night, he noticed the vial had started to glow faintly. Panicked, Mike grabbed the vial and shoved it into a drawer. But the glow persisted, growing stronger each night. Soon, Mike began to hear whispers, faint at first, like the wind, but gradually they became louder, clearer. They spoke of torment, of endless suffering, begging for release. The night everything changed. Mike awoke to find the vial shattered, the dark mist swirling around his room like a living thing. The whispers were deafening now, and the air was thick with an oppressive, malevolent presence. Mike tried to escape, but the mist pursued him, wrapping around him like cold, dead hands. It forced its way into his mouth, his nose, his eyes, and suddenly he was no longer in his apartment. He was in a place of darkness, surrounded by faceless figures who screamed in agony. The last thing Mike remembered before blacking out was the sound of laughter, deep, guttural, and filled with malice. When he woke, he was lying in his bed, drenched in sweat. The vial was gone, and so were the whispers, but something was different. Mike felt hollow, as if something had been taken from him. Over the next few days, Mike's health rapidly deteriorated. He became paranoid, withdrawn, haunted by nightmares of the dark place he had visited. Eventually, he couldn't take it anymore. He tried to find the collector again, but the form had disappeared, leaving no trace. Desperate, Mike visited a psychiatrist, but nothing could ease the torment he felt. His last visit to the doctor ended with him screaming about the darkness coming for him. 2 days later, he was found dead in his apartment, his face frozen in a mask of terror. The police found no signs of a struggle, no indication of foul play. The only thing out of place was Mike's computer, which was still logged into a strange, encrypted chat room. On the screen was a single message, left by an unknown user. "The transaction is complete." Rumors about Mike's death spread like wildfire, and soon others began searching for the elusive collector. Some say they found him, that they, too, made a purchase, but none of them were ever seen again.